All right, I am here, still here, was here this whole time. Just had a little bit of snack for myself, drank a little bit of water as we get into game number 1 for the finals of this monthly Rumble tournament. It's going to be Best Noob, looking like a bunch of boxes or some Korean characters. Playing as that Tyrannid Lictor Alpha, this infiltrating, annoying melee hero. And he's going to be up against the Orc War Boss. Tanky melee hero, can walk through cover, can charge, be very aggressive, and restore health. Or just health regeneration, that is. Alright, so let's take a look and see what the aggressive play is with this Lictor Alpha. Will not actually will not be in time to disrupt this requisition point, but either maybe going to look at a decap on the requisition, maybe get some Slugger models. Yep, we'll actually engage the Sluggers in melee. We'll slowly but surely bleed them. Right now, for the moment, they are ignoring the Lictor Alpha. I don't know if he even knows they're there. Maybe he has his eyes somewhere else on the map. But that's the only engagement that's happening currently, and eventually the Sluggers will retreat. One model was taken. Hormagaunts kind of on an island here, and that will just be a retreat called for them as well. Just strength in numbers was favoring Torpid. Stomp. Not big stomp, but just stomp there. And here is the Lictor Alpha. Now that he did get the Sluggers off the field, he will go for some of that just disruption on Torpid's economy, getting those sneaky backcaps with the Lictor Alpha being so annoying. And here we go with some more Spore Mines, doing some of that damage over time. And it will be the Shooter Boys retreating. They do actually retreat out of there with 0 losses. At the moment, though, it is a double victory point cap for Best Noob, so victory point pressure going to start going on his favor. I don't know why I was zoomed in there. Actually, I think it was the default zoom in. Lictor Alpha going around again, seeing if maybe... What is he going to look for now? He's going to look for those Sluggers again, I bet, but the War Boss is here to make that a little bit harder. So he'll just Flesh Hook a model, and Flesh Hook, it does look like, was just an instant kill on that model. So just use that energy, use that cooldown, just instant model kill. Pain Boy will be coming up for, and we see it's a Doc run. Pain Boy will be coming up for Torpid as he finishes off this squad of Spore Mines. Anyway, Sluggers right here winning against those Hormagaunts with the support of that War Boss, even though the Sluggers did actually do most of the work. So, mostly just light skirmishing so far. Lictor Alpha also mostly doing capping. Kind of doing some capping and some ambushing. But no major fights just yet in this game. So I didn't call it out, but we do, of course, have that triple Hormagaunt build out of Best Noob. Been seeing a lot of that throughout much of this tournament. Does certainly have plenty of... I mean, there are a lot of things it has. As melee units, they have high base DPS. So, of course, they can also just... Oh, wow. Yeah, I missed it. Sluggers were killed. Alright, so meanwhile these Hormagaunts... Oh, we just have an upgrade on the War Boss. It will be the Bang Bang Hammer, but I think this might be the more interesting engagement to look at. It's going to be use your Choppas put on these Sluggers. Did they get a heal yet from the Pain Boy? I think the Pain Boy already used a heal at some point, and then it ends up being a lost engagement. So unfortunately, those use your Choppas not quite... Oh no, and this might be a lost Slugger Boy too. Oh, so close. Alright, does get it out of there. Alive. So he already lost one squad of boys. Does not want to lose another squad of boys. And the Lictor Alpha has been scared off. But, of course, again, we have words that we're trying to learn. Toxin miasma or toxin miasma. About to be a double cap, though. And yeah, so it's a double cap, actually. It is a double cap for Torpid. Double cap for Torpid. Things looking pretty even in, honestly, most respects, aside from the map control, which is currently in favor of Torpid. But they both have a similar number of units. They look to be in roughly similar spots in terms of their economies. BestN00b, obviously, with more power, just held in the bank, but Torpid with a better power income at the moment. Without any substantial losses or any further unit purchases, I would expect both these players probably to get to Tier 2 at roughly the same time. Warlock, or rather War Boss, however, being heavily harassed by the Lictor Alpha. This is actually not good, because I'm pretty sure, I was going to say, I don't think he has Stomp. So he didn't have Stomp, so instead he had to use Now I'm Angry to get out of there alive. Otherwise, I think he just would have been overwhelmed in retreat and killed. So he's lucky he even had that he had that resource available, because I believe I had already seen Stomp used. Okay, another attempt with Use Your Choppas from the Sluggers, this time with the support of that Pain Boy. BestN00b decides he doesn't even want to mess around with it, so this is going to be a pretty solid Generator Bash coming in. We still have Use Your Choppas, but they're actually not using their Choppas, they're using their Burnas. And turns out they won't actually finish that last power generator. I don't even know if they'll finish this power node. While on the other side, we did see attempted power bash by the Hormagaunts. Hormagaunts are now in melee with the Sluggers, but they do get the Pain Boy heal. And the Hormagaunts are slowly but surely losing this fight. Here comes some Storm Boys jumping in as well. Sluggers will need to retreat, but ultimately it definitely is a fight win in favor of Torpid. And he should be able to use this opportunity to actually finish off the Generator Bash here. Surprising, he's still not quite committing. Okay, he's not keeping the Storm Boys in there to finish off that Generator Bash. Instead, he wants to try to finish it off with the Shooter Boys. Their damage not looking so hot right now because they don't actually have big shooters upgraded. Okay, Pain Boy decides to retreat out of there before risking being killed in retreat. Storm Boys jump out. But I think this is actually looking a little bit rough. I think the War Boss, I think he's going to need to try to help cover the retreat of the Storm Boys. He actually put Ard Boys in there, which indicates that he's committing to this fight. I think maybe he was hoping for a Synapse backlash on the Warriors. Obviously did not come in, and he is paying for it pretty badly right here. Actually, okay, I was going to say, lucky to get out 2 models with 11 hit points, but finally one does go down. Hey, look at what it is. It's the literal Big Stomp. Literal Big Stomp from that War Boss. Cyborg implants yet again from Torpid. Torpid that time, I think, getting the Synapse backlash from the Warriors. Definitely a lot later than he wanted. But, I mean, at the moment, this is looking like a pretty even game. BestN00b starting out Tier 2. And, yeah, okay, so actually, yeah, Tier 2 occurring at roughly the same time for both of these players. With BestN00b only just barely ahead. Warriors looking to come back out on the field. But most of these, I mean, the map right now is very much painted red in favor of Torpid. Pain Boy does get displaced, though. Let's take a look at what follow-up there is. It's just going to be immediate retreat called by Torpid, not wanting to risk the possibility of losing his Pain Boy there. That was looking a little scary. All right. Attempted Generator Bash about to happen by BestN00b. Does look like at some point I did miss a Hormagaunt squad going down. So missing a lot of things these days, and apparently it must have happened like right here. All right then. So, yeah, this generator bash is not happening. I think the Warboss, sorry, the Lictor Alpha actually needs to get out of here. Storm Boys, meanwhile, will need to use their jump to get out of there. They will be upgrading to have a Knob Leader. And it's going to be a War Truck coming out of Torpid. Man, Torpid is actually looking so strong in this tournament. I mean, at least at the moment, he is currently winning over BestN00b in this game. There's still plenty more games to play, but considering Torpid was supposed to have, like, not been playing for a while, I do find this amazing. Maybe he has been secretly smurfing. Does look like that Storm Boy Knob will be pulled out by the Lictor Alpha, but I don't think it'll be enough. Scary on the Storm Boy Knob for just a little while, but then we will have the Generator Bash. It will happen. I mean, BestN00b has such a small army in comparison to Torpid, and here even comes the War Truck to support everything. And, oh, before we could see that big stomp, it actually is BestN00b conceding. So that is game one in favor of Torpid. Unreal. Okay, but you know what? All I'm talking about that, we're already going into game two, and it turns out we're going to have an Orc Mirror, but it's going to be the Mech Boy versus the Warboss. Going to do a quick switch of our overlays.
The Emperor protects.
Thank you for the follow. As we move on in here to game one, up 1-0 in this series, it is going to be Torpid right here. This ST20D Bounty Bot playing as this Orc Warboss. Tanky melee hero, knocks things down, very disruptive, can literally stomp. And his opponent will be a much smaller Orc, the Mech Boy. Smaller, but shootier, can do damage from range, can teleport, can repair. So, forward positioning from this Mech Boy, I think teleporting in to try to get that contested requisition point early on in the game. More of a resource point focus out of BestN00b with his early caps. Power node not yet put on this node for BestN00b. Already activated, though, for Torpid, as we do see our first engagement happening, where the Warboss will find himself being targeted. Warboss going to be focused down by the Shooter Boys as well as the Mech Boy. At the moment, though, the focus fire on the Warboss is not particularly strong, since we have a shooter squad here, no big shooters, no knob, and the Mech Boy, only with his starting shooter, not quite as strong as if he had the Daka big shooter later on. Torpid forgetting his slash to stay in character. And let's take a look at what's going on right here. So Sluggers, yeah, this is just going to have to be... It's going to be a little bit harder to call things with Orcs on both sides, but it's going to be the Orcs from Torpid will need to retreat off the field. Just taking too much damage from that Mech Boy, and of course they can't afford to be in melee with the Sluggers, who already have burners. So we are going to see them take care of this node quite quick. And we do see kind of a split on where the... just where the nodes are put, since this is an interesting map in that it's a 1v1 map where you actually have two natural power farms. And in another map another replay that I had cast, but I don't think I've actually even made live yet, I had noticed how sometimes you can kind of spread out your risk if you put a few structures on both power farms instead of putting all of them on just one power farm. So these other Sluggers from BestN00b not having burners, so they were just trying to melee the node down, but eventually they were forced off by those double shooters.
The Emperor protects.
Thank you for the follow. Double shooters now upgrading to get big shooters. And we also see that Daka big shooter out from the Mech Boy. And that Daka big shooter, I feel like I don't always see that because it's, in a way I would say it's the simplest choice for the Mech Boy. It's just a straight DPS upgrade over his starting weapon, whereas the other two choices do give you interesting functionality. But
The Emperor
I think it's just very
protects.
good in this matchup because it's going to make the Mech Boy very, very good at just bleeding models off of really any Orc squad. Also helps him out a lot with focusing down the War Boss. War Boss at the moment, though, of course, we're going to see the Angry
Emperor
Bits.
protects.
Those Angry Bits, I do feel, are a pretty common upgrade. I mean, we saw them from Torpid in that last game. We also saw them a lot from Noisy in the last monthly team tournament. Wow, that was a close call for Best Noob.
Glorious
Ooh,
one
thank you,
for
thank
the
you, host.
Imperium.
That was a close call for Best Noob. Taken down to 13 hit points on his Mech Boy just from ranged fire. And it is going to be that War Boss, and we do see some more upgrades. Oh no, we're not going to see any more literal big stomps. Instead, he's gone for the spiky armor. I don't
The
dislike the
Emperor
spiky armor, though,
protects.
especially considering we apparently have a triple slugger from Best Noob. That's interesting.
The Emperor protects.
No electric armor yet from this Mech Boy. I wonder if we will see it. Could certainly do a lot of work. And Torpid is finding himself getting forced off the
This
field.
day shall be a glorious one.
On the one
for
hand, I think
Imperium.
he's just going to kind of get overwhelmed by just the huge amount of Orc boys. This is what we see here from Best Noob is a proper WA. Just 5 squads. Not a single tier 1.5 squad. Sluggers and shooters. What else do you need in life? A def gun? Nah. Alright then. So we do see the sluggers. Oh my god, what is Torpid doing? Those sluggers might be gone. I mean, they had already lost so many of their hit points before they had even gotten into melee. I don't know. I think maybe he was just counting on the support of this War Boss eventually, but clearly the War Boss came in just a little bit late. And the War Boss even finding himself in full retreat now, fully upgraded. But, I mean, Torpid now with barely any army compared to this proper WA from Best Noob. Generator Farm will be taken down quite easily with this proper WA. Dramatic camera angles. I don't know if we have any at the moment other than, I don't know, we just take a look at these Orc boys up close. Of course, this isn't the proper WA from Best Noob. One of the things, though, one of the problems with Vulcan Pits is that there's just something, not like a problem with actually playing it, but I often run into problems with trying to get screenshots for thumbnails on this map. Just something about a lot of the ground on this map is very low, so it makes it difficult to actually get a nice zoom in when you try to zoom in close on units. Let's even try taking a close look at this War Boss. Okay, actually, it's proving me wrong right here. We got a perfect picture of him. He's looking picture perfect right there, getting ready for his high school yearbook picture. But anyway, we are going to see Mech Boy with his Daka big shooter, trying to just
This
land some
day
damage.
shall be a
Ooh,
glorious
thank you.
one
Wow,
for
all
the
these hosts
Imperium.
coming in. Thank you so much. All right, wow, Mech Boy teleporting in real close right here. Not even forcing melee because he'll do quite a bit more damage in ranged. And here is the melee coming in from the sluggers, getting quite a few kills in retreat. I think that was 3 models killed in retreat. Indeed it was. 5 minus 2 is 3. Doing some math lessons here for those of you who do have children out of school. If a squad of sluggers, if a squad of shooters has 5 models and only 2 of them are left after getting engaged on, how many were killed? Anyway, we're going to see use your choppers and Ard boys put on those sluggers, but they're also just so low. Now, somehow, Torpid does control some of this map, but he's really struggling in terms of power. So things, oh man, this is looking terrible for Torpid. After such a strong game last game, this is looking like, I think this game is over in about 3 minutes or so. Yeah, I mean, he already calls the GG. Like, I was going to say, like, in 3 minutes, he didn't even wait for the war truck to come out on the field, just realizing that he was pretty much gone. So, that will be Best Noob, evening out the series at 1-1 as we move into game number 3. All right, so game number 3 in the finals of the monthly Rumble Team Tournament 2020 will be played between Best Noob, currently looking like boxes, but also just Korean characters that won't show up on my American keyboard or computer. And he's going to play as that Orc Mech Boy, teleporting ranged hero. His opponent's going to be Torpid, switching over to the Warlock, melee hero, either spellcasting or melee tank, depending on what he gets. And of course, this is Green Tooth Jungle Redux fixed. There was long ago, and I think it's technically still in the map, a map called Green Tooth Jungle, but there were just something about the way that map was designed where I think both players' spawn points were actually on the bottom. One here, one here. People didn't like that. It was an asymmetrical map, or at least not symmetrical, like, in both ways. Wasn't completely symmetrical. And then they made this one, which is actually just a straight-up symmetrical map. And then apparently there was a problem, so they needed to make a fixed version. I hope you enjoy all this history as we just move on. One quick check for a second. All right, let's catch up with the game here. Warlock, potentially. I wonder if he's going to be looking for a Destructor at some point. Destructor does go in. Late sound effect there for some reason. It is enough to scare off one of the shooter boys. Luckily for them, they will not lose a single model. Special attack from the Warlock whiffs completely because the shooter boys are being microed away. Warlock's still here in melee, proving to be quite a nuisance. What a nuisance he is there. Eventually he will be forced into retreat, but certainly did at least draw a lot of attention and time from these units from Best Noob. So Torpid going to be looking for a Guardian weapon team as his second purchase. Purchased a single generator. And Storm Boys will also be picked up by Best Noob at this time. Torpid going to be looking to stall out the victory point, so it's now 1-1, but the Dire Avengers pay for it with the life of one Dire Avenger model, which will be off the field. And with that, I think this does mean this engagement ultimately does go in favor of Best Noob. Mech Boy, if anything, I think the Mech Boy kind of played a dangerous game there. Of course he can just teleport away, but if he had gotten a special attack procced on him, things could have actually gone out of his control real quick. Didn't happen, though. So he is going to be okay. Double shooters looking to scare off the Dire Avengers, but okay, finally they get a knob, but I don't think they have any big shooters yet. So Howling Banshee's choosing not to make the aggressive play, instead going to hide behind some line of sight blockers. Shooter Boy's still hanging around here, though. While we are going to have a War Boss, or rather a Warlock, who's already picked up the Merciless Witchblade. I think part of the intention behind that might be, if he can get into melee with the Mech Boy, could potentially put the Mech Boy in a situation where the Mech Boy won't have enough energy to actually teleport out. What you do, Asmon, is you copy that same message and you highlight it. That's what you get to do. And then everyone else should copy pasta it. I know, I'm going to have to give you something to do with all this, with all these channel bucks. Because at some point, you guys are just going to amass a huge amount of them. But anyway, as we get back into this game, Storm Boys will jump in on the Guardian Weapon team. Warlock is in here, though, with the Merciless Witchblade, starting to do some damage on the Storm Boys, especially because they aren't really focusing on the Warlock. Eventually, they do need to get out of there. They lose 2 of their models, and I think we see the Champion's Robe coming on the Warlock. So choosing to go for that melee tank, choosing to go for the tank build, Champion's Robe granting the Warlock an energy shield that takes 5 damage for every 1 point of energy. It effectively just gives the Warlock an extra 500 hit points, which can also regenerate, and especially makes him a little bit less risky when directly in melee with something like the Slugger Boys, which if he's just in his vanilla form, he could get overwhelmed by them. Double cap now for BestN00b, so BestN00b now kind of asserting his dominance back in this series after losing Game 1. I wonder if it'll just be loses Game 1, but then wins all 3 of the next games in quick succession. We'll see.
I always wanted one of these.
Asman. Oh, Asman. Oh, God. That's too much. Oh, I can't help it. Sluggers. Icons. So, things not looking great for Torpid. They're not looking terrible. He hasn't suffered any huge generator bashes. He does have plenty of power, but he is... BestN00b at this point is just kind of exerting his will. He is keeping hold of much of the map, retaining the double victory point capture, so victory points continue to tick down in his favor. And he even has the Mech Boy here kind of guarding this victory point. It's hard to even say if any of these victory points are really natural. I guess we could argue that this one is natural for BestN00b, whereas this one would be natural for Torpid, but even that is kind of strange. Torpid, I mean, he's got the smaller army. I mean, he actually kind of went for fast Tier 2 tech, only after getting a single Guardian Weapon team. So no additional Guardian Weapon team, no Rangers, no second Dire Avenger, not even the second Banshee squad. Which, I don't know. It's hard to tell because at this point, you know, just in the chat, it seems like we're just like on full meme mode. But I wouldn't think of double Banshees being as much of a thing with the Warlock. I mean, yes, you could get the channeling runes, but that does work on only a single Banshee. Whereas I feel like the part of the idea with the Farseer is that you can actually heal both Banshees as they're in the middle of a fight. So some power will be bashed by BestN00b. And what is Torpid going to do about this? I mean, he does get back at least this victory point, but Dire Avengers are all the way over here, so I don't think he's in much of a position to take a fight. And I mean, it's rough going for this small of a build because spreading out at all to regain map control means he doesn't have much of an ability to actually take fights. So we are going to see the Wraithlord coming out. That is actually an interesting Wraithlord. Wraithlord, I mean, he was able to fast tech to that Wraithlord. Still feel like it's coming out a little slowly. I mean, in part just because of the fact that it's a Wraithlord and costs so much power to get out. And both players actually being now moving around this map very tentatively. Very cautiously, not committing to anything just yet. Mech Boy playing a passive game here, but he will get knocked over by that Merciless Witchblade from the Warlock. But meanwhile, I'm talking about that. We are going to have an engagement go down here. Guardian Weapon Team in trouble, does get jumped on by the Storm Boys, but does retreat out of there without taking too much damage. And I'm actually really surprised to just see that retreat like that. I don't know, maybe just feeling like at some point the Banshees can just turn around. Do we not have aiming what's that on the big shooters? A little bit surprised to see that. The Howling Banshees as well as the Warlock. Wow. I'm surprised he scared him off the field just with all that. Just the threat of the Banshees and the Warlock. So BestN00b is in Tier 2. He does have a War Truck on the way. I don't think he knows about the Wraithlord yet. Wraithlord has been upgraded with a Shuriken Cannon, so not going to be putting much threat on the War Truck. And Well, whether he knows it or not, whether he knows about the Wraithlord or not, he does have some tank buses on the way, so even when he does finally get into an engagement with this Wraithlord, he will have an answer for it, and we'll just see what Torpid can do to see if he can tie up those tank busters with either the Warlock or the Howling Banshees. Does seem like people are liking this Jedi build Warlock. Remember the days when then you could also just go, what was it, Heart of Darkness in the accessory slot with the way it used to work, where you would just get an instantly restore some of your energy, and I think also your health. I'm pretty sure it was reworked to work differently kind of a while ago. Mech Boy is just going to tank that grenade. Does he go down in retreat there? It would be a pretty close call. 16 hit points. Dire Avengers trying to finish him off, but they will not get it. Oh, no, they will! Oh, my God. Not getting out of there. Uh-oh, having some lag while I'm trying to move to things other around the map. Oh, was BestN00b... Sorry, not was BestN00b. Was Heart of Darkness, was it actually reverted? Because I'm pretty sure there was a time when it was changed in a way so that it no longer had any synergy with the Champion's Robe. Was it reverted, or was it changed back to be kind of similar? But anyway, you know what? While we're talking all about that, I think this is going to be a done Wraithlord out of BestN00b. Oh, man, I think we might see BestN00b after that rough game one quickly going up a game in this series. BestN00b just proving to be the crusher of dreams in these tournaments. Denied Dark Hero an Elite League win, now denying Torpid a monthly Rumble tournament win. At least, well, might not be happening, but that is going to be a Haywire Grenade finishing off the War Truck. But the Howling Banshees, can they get out of there alive? No, they cannot. Rather unfortunate for Torpid. And the Warlock going down too absolutely means it is a GG in favor of BestN00b, now up 2-1 in this series. Man, it's like you guys went to high school or something. Jeez, you actually read Of Mice and Men. Damn. All right then, so as we stop talking about Of Mice and Men or To Kill a Mockingbird, or War and Peace, we're going to move on to some real war here, or some virtual war, actually. This is a best of 5, and in this series, we are going to have our names incorrect, because it's actually Torpid who's playing as this war boss, down a game, whereas BestN00b, playing as the Mech Boy, is up 2-1. So let's quickly fix the overlay. There it is, fixed. Very nice. Yeah, I read Of Mice of Men in school as well. Read it once a month. All right then. So let's see if we'll have a proper wall here. With any luck for Torpid, this will go a bit better than the last Orc Mirror that he fought against BestN00b, which obviously was pretty not good in his favor. All right, so We are going to have, it's going to be some shooter boys taking some damage from this mech boy, so that's why we're going to see the sluggers go in. Of course, immediate teleport out from the mech boy is not a surprise at all. However, sluggers are able to get back into melee before that mech boy can get his teleport ready yet again. So there will be another teleport. Finally does get him out of there. And the mech boy can do this for quite a while, but he does have some cooldown in between teleports. And apparently, am I missing something with sluggers while I'm watching that? Did I miss sluggers? Oh, yeah, we must have had some sluggers go down. Oh, no. Already, I'm missing things, and already things not going well for Torpid. Torpid going to be losing some more slugger models in retreat. I'm paying way too much attention to the chat and not enough to this game. Losing some sluggers. Unfortunately, this is starting to shape up a lot like the last Orc Mirror. Yep, Torpid did lose a slugger squad, and I, of course, missed it. Storm Boy is now going to be picked up for Torpid, as this war boss continues to just go on in here. We'll use the stomp to get the slugger boys off his back as he continues to chase around the shooter boys. Does take a nice chunk out of the shooter boy health there with his starting chain axe thing. Uh-oh, is that going to be the war boss going down? Oh my god, please, no. I mean, I hate to be biased, but it's the war boss going down. Jesus. Rough starts for Torpid. It's just that much closer to $500 being in the pocket of Best Noob. It's going to be a difficult recovery for Torpid in this final game in this series. All right, Mech Boy once again with that Daka big shooter, just giving him that extra damage, bleeding off those orc squads a lot more quickly than he would with just his starting weapon. Does eventually teleport out of there, though. In spite of those losses from Torpid, losing both the sluggers as well as the war boss, things seem to be going okay for Torpid. Map control is roughly even between these players. Resources looking pretty even as well. However, Best Noob does have the better power income. Okay, big engagement going on right here. Big tier 1 engagement. Storm Boys are already at half health, but we did get some knockback on the sluggers from Best Noob. The sluggers from Torpid, though, where are they going? Oh no, don't make this another... Oh no, another wiped slugger squad. What is happening? Oh my god. I mean, man. Oh no, does the war boss... Oh my god. Oh my god. And that's it! Oh god. Wow, what honestly a rather disappointing end to that last game. And with that is the end of the monthly Rumble tournament. Best Noob will be taking home $500. Jesus, though, that last game was brutal.